Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Carlson, and welcome to a San Jose State football preview show. We are with the Spear, and along with me, I have Derek Al, Max Miller, and Jara Gojolo. Gentlemen, how are you, and how excited are you for Spartan football to return?
Well,
Brian?
Ryan. Oh,
Derek?
sorry, Max.
No, go, Derek, go.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Max is making his season debut, by the way. He's been a little busy with school and
Glad to be here.
hockey's should be starting. San Jose State Club hockey, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, should be starting. We got the voice here, our host, Mr. Carlson. But back to football, yeah, I'm just really shocked that we're actually talking about football. I know I wrote back in, I believe, April that, hey, don't do this. Pull the plug right now. Just say next year. They did. They listened to me for about 2-3 months. And then the domino effect happened with the SEC, ACC now, and then the Big Ten starting tomorrow as well. Or actually, they start tonight with Wisconsin. So Max Beckholt's probably watching this. He's not even watching us, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's just an amazing. It's an amazing thing and give kudos to our athletic director Marie Tuitt, President Papazian for getting the season started, and also all the other schools for saying yes, because they didn't have to. Obviously, there's huge financial implications if there wasn't a season, but here we are. It's an 8-game sprint, and yeah, it's unbelievable. And I know there's going to be a new scoreboard on the north end zone at SFQ Stadium, and I know Coach Brennan was really excited about that. I think he was more excited about that than the game, but I think it's 50-50. So.
Yeah, he was ecstatic about that during his Monday press conference, and the basic theme for Brennan and the summary of what they talked about in the press conference with Brennan is that he and his team are excited to get back to the field after 12 days at Humboldt State in order to practice as a team, and now they're back after traveling over 600 miles round trip in order for that to happen, to face Air Force at home for their first game of the season. So Max and Jara, how do you guys feel about Spartan football coming back?
You know, I'm excited. I mean, we hope to build off last year. You know, there were some encouraging moments. Yeah, you know, we've got some new faces. Coach Brennan fresh off that new extension. Like Derek said, it's an 8-game sprint. Anything can happen, as we've seen in all the postseasons in professional sports and even college sports. I mean, yeah, I don't know if any of you follow Premier League, but the reigning champs, Liverpool, lost 7-2 to a team that might be relegated this year. So, and that's Aston Villa. So, you know, anything can happen. The new scoreboard, I mean, teams got, you know, there's pride. There's 8 games. You know, it's a sprint. It couldn't be said any differently. It's a sprint. New faces, hungry, and just the want to play. You will see that on not only for San Jose State side, but on Air Force. These kids want to play. We want to watch them play. And I'm excited to get the season going. And let's see, you know, San Jose State gets off to a great start. Who knows what happens from here?
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of sports coming back in general as well, but just seeing how the other conferences they implemented the testing, the rapid testing, that kind of subdued my worries. And locally, with the Santa Clara County, they've reduced the risk level for COVID-19 in the county, so that pretty much subdued all of my worries for this football season. But in terms of like the game, I think San Jose State, I think it'll take some time to mesh. But I mean, we'll get more to it later. But I think there is definitely going to be some hunger to both teams coming up this season.
Yeah, for sure. And there'll be rapid and often testing for COVID-19. I think 3 times a week the players will be tested, and Brennan was asked about that. He said he's just going to encourage the guys and respects those who opted out of the season when given the option to do so because of COVID. But Santa Clara County gave the green light to Spartan football to perform at home in front of no fans. So if you're looking to watch the game, it'll be available on cable TV on Fox Sports 1 today at 7:30 against Air Force, and all the info about where to watch it will be updated on the Spartan football website as we go through the season. A big question mark around next week's football game out in New Mexico, whether that'll happen or not. But focus is on Air Force, and like Jara said, it'll take a little bit of time to mesh out there on the field. Air Force has one game under their belt already, and that was against Navy, and they won 40-7. And the Spartans, it's something they don't have a game under their belt. This will be the first look at the team as a whole, and the first look at their starting quarterback, who we have yet to get confirmation on, but we have a likely assumption that it might be Nick Starkel.
Yeah, I know Coach Brennan, he was asked about that. He's like, well, you'll know on Saturday. So he's kept his parts to the vest. And, I think it will be Nick Starkel. I mean, we've been on the Nick Starkel hype train ever since he announced he was transferring here back in the spring, I believe. And I think if he can put on a good performance, maybe 200 or 250 to 300 yards passing, because he has the talent, he has the arm talent. The question is the turnovers, can he keep the ball away from Air Force? Because that's been Air Force's strength defensively over the past couple of years, is just, making sure they get the ball, interceptions. And because their offense is a triple option and they run the ball, they will run at you. The thing about San Jose State is we don't know, like, physicality wise, these guys haven't had enough reps, maybe, considering they've lost decent amount of padded practices that they usually would be having right now. But we'll see. I think Starkel can put on a good performance. Maybe 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. I do see Nick Nash playing maybe 3 series. I think you'll see him come in on the 2nd and 3 or a 3rd and 5. Kind of in the Taysom Hill situations. Maybe even in the red zone, because I saw some of that last year when he was sharing the spotlight with Josh Love, and Josh Love, had that amazing arm talent. You saw what he did, break tying school records and stuff. So I feel like Starkel will be the guy. I think he, the pressure is on him because he needs to deliver and get his team to show that this is his team. It's not the Josh Love team that what we saw last year. This is his team now. And I feel like if he can do that, maybe give it to Bailey Gaither, who's been on our team for like 10 years, it seems like. But I think if he can do that, the Spartans will go 1-0. And by the way, folks, they have not beaten Air Force since 1997. So I don't want to reveal our ages on here because, you guys don't need to know.
I'll let you for my sake.
Yeah. So majority of us weren't born in 1997. Okay. Our host, Ryan here, he was not born, ladies and gentlemen.
Nope. This will be a first in my lifetime for sure.
So
I don't think he's even conceived.
Yeah.
No, I was not.
He wasn't even.
Well, I mean, look, you guys are giving Ryan some stuff right now. Me too. I was born '98. I haven't seen them win. I don't even think I was conceived when they won. So, Jar, you got a point there.
Wow.
It'll be a first in our lifetime. And like Derek touched on, Spartans may be missing a step in some areas, losing some big names such as Josh Love. I mean, that guy carried the team for many games last season. And you also lose DeJohn Packer, who had the winning touchdown at Arkansas last year. And guess who was under the gun for Arkansas? Nick Starkel. So, like Derek said, he's got to make it certain that it's his team this year, really gain control of the reins there. And despite the losses, Coach Brennan has plenty of options for running back with Kyrie Robinson, Tyler Nevins, and Isaiah Holiness, all guys that can carry the load, and a pretty solid backup in Nick Nash, like you guys mentioned. He took over in that game at Nevada last year for Josh Love, who went out with an injury. And I thought ever since seeing Nash play a couple snaps in their season opener last year against Tulsa State, he played really well, and he's a very mobile quarterback. So you have a couple of great options there at QB and into the running back situation, which is also uncertain right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Nick Nash, I mean, if you go back to last season's game against Air Force, San Jose State did not win the game. We know that. I mean, it was a final score. I believe it was 41. Hold on, I have it right here. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. It was 41-24 Air Force. But you look at some of the offensive numbers. Josh Love, he had an all right game. He was 19 of 35 passing for 198 yards. Nick Nash was in the game, kind of like what Derek said in a Taysom Hill rule, but I think it was a little bit more than that. Nick Nash finished 5 of 7 for 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. But that's not all. He also ran 11 times, which led the team against Air Force for 62 yards. He averaged 5.6 yards a carry. So going back to what you said, Ryan, he's a mobile quarterback. He can move. It's 6'1". He's slippery. 6'1", 184 is what he's listed as. He's not Starkle, but hey, we could see, and I think we will see Nick Nash get in some series. I mean, what he did last year, being dedicated. I mean, he thought it was him until we knew about the transfer. He thought he was the guy. So he's got a chip on his shoulder to go out and perform when he gets his opportunity. And if for some reason, hopefully not, there is an injury, he knows he can step right in and lead the offense.
Definitely. There's also a big question mark around the running back situation, like I mentioned, and Jara would like to know what you think about that. You got 3 solid options: Kyrie Robinson, Tyler Nevins, and Isaiah Holiness, who's the youngest of the 3, I believe, or it might be Robinson. But Tyler Nevins seems to have the most experience going in to this season.
Yeah, in the press conference, not only did Coach Brandon mention those 3, but he also mentioned, Shamar Garrett. He also mentioned, I'm losing the other name, but he mentioned not just the 3 that you mentioned, Ryan, but he mentioned a mixture of those options at running back. So I think we'll see a mix of them. I don't think there's going to be a clear like bell cow, like number one, like kind of like what we saw last season. But I think this might be a better way to function as a run game. Maybe like share the carries, share the different looks that each running back might bring. We'll just see like tonight. That's going to show us like kind of the first kind of view of what we have at the running back position.
Yeah, I'm eager to see who they run with here, and regardless of who starts at running back or quarterback especially, they're going to have some dangerous receivers to utilize in Trey Walker and Bailey Gaither. Trey Walker had 79 receptions last season with 1,161 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's a little under what you might think for a guy of his caliber. So this could be a breakout season for Trey Walker. And like Derek said earlier, it seems like Bailey Gaither's been around forever.
Yeah, I know. I believe there's like 5 or 6 players that are getting the master's degree. Just what I read through the press release that our school provided. So yeah, you have 6 guys, but Bailey Gaither started playing at San Jose State when I was in high school. So ladies and gentlemen, that's how you're a definite leader. But also, all the majority of the starters are returning on the offensive line, and I feel like they need to win that war. Also, then make sure to keep Nick Starkle clean. Keep that Adidas. Yeah, by the way, I'm wearing Adidas, so that's a nice sponsorship plug for the football team. But keep that Adidas uniform clean. I think that's the goal, because Air Force, they've had a couple weeks off. They played Navy earlier in the month, I believe, and earlier in October. So just keep that uniform clean tonight. And I feel like if they can do that, and also win the time of possession battle, because we all know Air Force, they love to go on those 12, 13, 14 play drives that take 5-6 minutes, and then now requires Coach Brandon to use a timeout just to give his defense a breather. So I think that's really those 2 keys of the game, is just keep the sack, keep the no sacks, and also do not turn the ball over. I think those are key. Really the 3 keys that I have for tonight's game. But I know it's going to be really weird for them, playing in front of no fans. They're going to be looking at cardboard cutouts, and I have no idea where they're going to put them in the stadium. We won't find out till tomorrow.
Did you guys get one? We had the option of grabbing one. Did you guys get one for yourselves?
I did not, Ryan.
I was close.
I honestly, I didn't even know they were doing that. I've been so busy with schoolwork, but I'm excited. I kind of wish I got one. Maybe there's still time, but like what Derek said, because I think time of possession is going to be absolutely key tomorrow. Last year, I know I keep referencing last year, but that's kind of all we got right now, right? Last year, Air Force moved the ball for 33 minutes to San Jose State's 26. And now it was more even in the first half, and I think that's why it seems so close here. But another key thing that I want to look at here is red zone chances. Air Force was 5 of 6 for scores in the red zone compared to San Jose State's 3 of 6. San Jose has got to capitalize on their red zone chances. Once they get it there in a scoring position against this team, which we've talked about has already played, they need to be able to score. And again, if they are meshing well, which we hope, and we know there's been limited time to get together and really work on and gain that chemistry, we got to hope that they can finish and create plays that get them into the end zone, right? Take the chances when they come. This team has already played a game. They've got a game under their belt. The only way to win this game is to control the ball and capitalize on your chances, just like in any sport, but it's almost key now especially with Air Force already playing one game.
Yeah.
Going back to the whole cardboard cutout situation. I think it's cool in concept, but I think they listed it. Is it $100? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, $99. It's pretty steep, but I think if it goes to the athletic program, I can see why people would go through with the offer. But that's $100 I don't have right now. In all honesty,
I feel that.
But going back,
I'm almost certain Crazy George has that $100 though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You better believe he'll have one there.
He's got 10 cutouts every single post he's ever made, trying to rally the team. He's dropped like a cool rack on cardboard cutouts. I bet that.
Go Crazy George.
But anyways, going back to the whole run game for Air Force, I think a big key for San Jose State in regards to that is being clinical. I know that's a soccer term, but being clinical with their drives, because Air Force's run game, is going to eat up clock, so that's going to reduce that's naturally going to reduce the time of possession for San Jose State. So they're going to have to be much more clinical in terms of the time of like how many possessions that they're going to have, because more time for them, of course, means less time for San Jose State, and they have to make the most of those opportunities that are definitely going to be limited by that the time crunch.
And for reference, last year, Air Force ran the ball 69 times and only attempted to throw the ball 10 times. So it's clearly a run-heavy offense. And Air Force had 382 yards, averaged 5.5 yards per carry, and ran in 5 touchdowns. So just like Jara said, stop the run game, you stop Air Force offense, and you capitalize on your chances. Those are the keys to win this game.
And Derek, I'll let you give your 3 keys in a sec. The offensive line is going to be huge. We'll kind of see how the defense plays. It's kind of a toss-up against Air Force. They did well. Their turnover ratio was plus 10 last year from being in the negatives the couple seasons prior. But the offensive line is going to have to come in huge this game and give the quarterback time, whether it's Starkel or Nash. It'll probably Starkel to make a play, hand off, or look for his options in Walker or Gaither, or Derek Deese, who is Derek Deese Jr., who's also listed as a tight end option. So, Jackson Snyder, Trevor Robbins, and Kyle Hoppy, those guys are going to have to be big. And you also have Tyler Stevens and Jesse Chamberlain, who are options and will play some snaps as well. So a solid offensive line. We'll see how they can protect the quarterback. Derek, what are your 3 keys to tomorrow's game?
Well, number one,
tonight's game. Tonight. We may be recording the night before, but we're gonna view it. We're gonna show this the day of. So tonight's game. Correction.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are not a plus production sometimes, but it's okay. We all
My bad.
So
we're here for you guys.
Because I know these guys are going to hop on the Twitter machine. So all these jabronis, by my Jar's favorite word, here at the L Palace. But 3 keys of the game. 3 keys.
That's your speed.
Yeah, it is. So 3 keys to the game. Number one, it's really kind of a breath of fresh air for Coach Brennan. He got that 5-year extension back in December of last year. So he will be here until 2023. And he needs to build. They need to build off the 5-7 season they had. It was an incredible up and down, season last year with big wins at Arkansas. They got the Valley Trophy back against Fresno State, and you're taking on an Air Force team that was at least 1 loss away from being in the Mountain West Championship game. And I feel like if they can show that this is a different San Jose State team that does not get off the slow starts. So it's really big to get that first win out of the way, because if you go 0-1, 0-2, it's kind of hard to get that out, especially in a season where, number one, there's no divisions in the Mountain West. It's just going to be the top 2 teams. Whoever makes it, okay, you're in the conference title game. So I think it's going to come down to really just how much time has San Jose State spent in pads. I think that's going to be critical. I know they had those 12 days in Humboldt, much to some of the chagrin of the Humboldt State students up there. But I think a lot of it's going to come down to, did that build chemistry with all the players? Because that's so important, and it's something that all college teams struggle, whether you're Clemson or Alabama to us. all teams have struggled with that because they haven't had the right amount of practice time in a normal season. So I think that's going to come down to, are these guys, when it's going to be, let's say, 17-14, you have to drive the ball 90 yards. And then in the last 5 minutes, will this team rally together? Will they be there for each other? That's going to be one of the keys. Number two, I mentioned this earlier in the show. Nick Starkel, can he deliver a big performance? Because he has been the hype machine, coming over. We mentioned in one of our earlier magazines in the spring semester, transferring from Arkansas, getting the vote of confidence from Josh Webb. Can he deliver? And I think if he can maybe just not turn the ball over, I think that's going to be so critical, especially with an Air Force team that loves to control the time of possession. That gets so overlooked in football, pro, NFL, or in college. And I think that's going to be really critical. And number three is that defensive line. I know that was one of the weaknesses last year. Can they get to the quarterback? I know majority of them are returning starters, but you'll see some freshmen in there get thrown into the fire right away, instead of having a non-conference schedule to build the starters up. So I think those are the three keys, and I know, this season's 8 games, but I mean, these are 8 pivotal games to see that Coach Brennan is the guy, because, he's gone one win season, 3 win season, 5. Can he get this team over 500? That's the question. And it all begins tonight at 7:30 on FS1. But by the way, folks, listen to our student station, KSJS. Ryan and I are part of it. No, we will not be calling the game, but hopefully later in the season. I know
I
Ryan.
wish you were.
I know Ryan's in beautiful Southern California in San Diego. So, we're going to do our best that we can. But yeah, those are my 3 keys to the game. And we'll see if San Jose State could be 1-0 on Sunday morning.
Great 3 keys. I could touch on all of them, but team chemistry was huge for the guys going up to Humboldt, and they spent basically most of every day up there in a tight, restricted protocol from the field, and then back to the dorms for practice. They got one day that I know of that Brennan took them on a team nature walk up there, just get some fresh air, which was nice, and I'm sure enhanced team bonding a little bit. The defensive line is going to be key as well, Derek. And I think you touched on some recruiting, and there'll be a new crop of players that we get a look at. And it'll be interesting to see if there'll be some movers and shakers right off the bat from the new crop that Brennan and his coaching staff, who are all returning, have brought on. And shout out to running backs coach Alonzo Carter. He got a Zoom award, so go look into that. Very well deserved. He did a lot over the summer with activism in the community, and he deserves it. Wonderful guy. I've gotten to interview him a couple times, and he's terrific if you ever get to talk to him. He has a great story, and excited to see him from the TV, as I'm sure all of you will be as well. Like Derek said, tonight 7:30 kickoff, Air Force at San Jose State. I want to go around one more time and get some predictions from you guys. How will this game play out? What will the score be?
Well, Ryan, I forgot to add one more. Matt Mercurio. I got to interview him this past week. I think he's going to be critical. I think this is the season that he becomes the best kicker in the Mountain West, and that is a hot take. I could have said country, and then you guys, some of our adoring fans would have like, what? Seriously? But yeah.
But it happened. He's very skilled.
Yeah, he is. Salinas, California, by the way, my hometown, ladies and gentlemen, and big plug for my hometown. But score-wise, I see this being close. I don't see it being a real shootout. It's going to come down to turnover margin, turnover battle. Our Air Force has had 2 to 3 weeks preparing for us. We've only had like 2.5, 3 weeks, and going to another school to prepare for 12 days, and now barely being back in San Jose for 6 days. And we're like, okay, now's the time to play. But I say Matt Mercurio is going to win it. And I'm not biased or anything, but Matt Mercurio is going to win for the Spartans, and it's going to be 27-24. They go to 1-0 heading into New Mexico.
We hope, New Mexico. We hope. So, Derek, I'm going to say I'm not as optimistic as you. I believe there is definitely a chance. However, I think the fact that Air Force has a game under their belt and the travel to Humboldt State and then back here now, I think just in terms of some new faces, some new places, a new quarterback, I think we might be in, I'm almost positive we're going to get one of those classic slow starts. Now, I don't think that's going to last the entire year, but I think it is first game, we delay. But the one thing that I have going for them is they're excited. I think both sides are excited to get going, and I think the hunger to get back out there and play could help San Jose State in this situation. Air Force, they've already played that game, so it's kind of business as usual for them now. San Jose State, this is their first game. It's a big game. They know if they get off to a good start, anything can happen. I think the key here is you stop the run game and you like Ryan said, you control the turnover margin. However, in my prediction, I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think we see a 28-17 final. I think it's going to be close to the end, and I think it's just going to be running out of time. And I think at the end of the game, the Air Force is just going to kind of get a late score, and then the sails will fall off the window, go into the sails, and that'll be it. But against New Mexico, I've got better ideas. Trust me.
You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna predict a higher score total than both of you guys. I think when the sun goes down, I think you never know what's going to happen. I see a shootout. I see a wild one. I see lots of scores. I see lots of long touchdowns on both sides. So I think my score prediction, I'd say like 38-35 Air Force, just because I'd say the defensive line and the front seven of San Jose State, I think they're gonna just get. I wouldn't say manhandled, but I think the. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna go that far, but I think the game under Air Force's belt, I think they're already more game ready than San Jose State in the trenches. So I think they're gonna run all over. But I think on the other side, I think I'm predicting San Jose State to air it out a little bit. I think Starkel, I think he has better a stronger arm than Josh Love did last season, and I think that's going to work well with the speed combined with Trey Walker and Bailey Gaither. So I think high scoring, 38-35 Air Force.
Yeah, Josh Love, he sure aired it out last year. Had many games over 400 yards passing, so it'll be good for Nick Starkel to try to fill those shoes and gel with the Spartan offense. Max and Jara, they're the they're the antagonists. So Derek and I are going to be the protagonists.
Oh.
And I think I'm going to go with a Spartan win tonight against Air Force at home in San Jose. I think it's going to be a low scoring like Derek. I agree. I think the Spartan defense will step up and get it done against Air Force, who held their opponent to only 7 points in their first game of this season. That's intimidating, but I'm going to go with a 17-10 Spartan win tonight.
20.
Whoa.
I'm going to go with a 17-10 Spartan win tonight, 7:30 SJSU Stadium in San Jose. It's going to be a good one. Again, you can watch it on Fox Sports West. You might think, is this really SJSU Stadium? There's going to be some
Sports
differences. Fox Sports 1. Sorry. I've been down in SoCal. I've been down in SoCal for too long.
But hey, you know what? Hey, San Jose State, new TV deal, new eyes. When's the last time we seen them on Fox Sports 1?
That's true. It'll be very nice. They got a great deal done. Of course, there's many radio options when you're on the road and maybe want to listen with their flagship station and student radio at 90.5 KSJS. So tune in however you can. And I want to circle way back to the beginning of this pre-game show that we have here at the Spear. And when we talked about the new scoreboard that will be on the north side of the stadium, Coach Brennan said, as a little boy and as a longtime Spartan fan, either one, you'll just be amazed once you're there at the stadium and you see this thing. He was really blown away by it, and I think we'll just get a little bit of a glimpse from the TV, but I can't wait to be there in person and see it myself with all of you guys and all of the Spartan fans that are usually there in attendance. It'll be a little eerie to see a bunch of cardboard cutouts there, but that's the way 2020 has gone. So I can't wait for tonight and Thank you guys for joining me on this first football preview show with the Spear. For Derek Al, Max Miller, and Jara Gojolo, I'm Ryan Carlson. Enjoy the game tonight. I know we will.